Here, I got my boy Danny Woodhead. You know him as former NFL running back, but now he's a golf stud. He just came off dang near qualifying for the U.S. Open, playing good. Congratulations to that, first of all, man. That's quite the accomplishment to do that and to play at that kind of a level. That's not your first sport. It's pretty awesome, man. Good to see.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. It's kind of crazy. Like, just thinking back to, I don't know, what was it, 4 years ago when I retired? And yeah, then getting to that opportunity is kind of crazy. Just kind
Yeah,
of a bizarre set of circumstances. Actually didn't play that bad. I had 4 hiccup holes, which you can't do in tournaments like that. And I mean, I didn't take advantage of some holes at times, but I was 9 over and 4 holes. Like, that's going to kind of get you in the plus 10 range. I mean,
yeah, yeah.
even if you just, but it is what it is. Like, I mean, it was a great experience. And I think, and hopefully I get another opportunity, because after being there once, I don't want to say you understand it, but you also are just like, okay, like, I mean, it's still golf. It's still whatever.
Yeah,
Not that I had like crazy nerves, but it was just, yeah, I mean, that course, they tricked it out with those sloped greens.
I would have been incredibly nervous. Props to you.
Yeah.
Danny's still rolling with the podcast over there with Matt Slauson doing your thing. You need to check that out. But we're here to talk live golf. We're here to, I just kind of randomly texted Danny and was like, are you open to just getting on here and talking about it? Because everybody else is talking about it. People in the golf community are for sure talking about it. And people outside the golf community are talking about it. And I think people want to hear more discussion about it. And I don't want to, get into some of the same old stuff that everybody's talking about.
Yeah.
But I think there's some funny stuff going on with the live golf thing that we could probably have a few chuckles on. And I kind of want to I want to get your perspective on even coming from like thinking about it from an NFL perspective. But I mean, first of all, like, what's your overall thoughts? Like if I just said, Danny, give me 2 minutes on just overall everything that you want to say or everything that you feel about the live golf, about PGA Tour, about this whole thing, like what would you say?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I understand. So I'm not going to get into just because there's no reason to really talk about too much of the, not the political stuff, but the whole
Yeah. The human
stuff.
rights, the moral,
Yes,
ethical stuff. Yeah.
let's talk about the sport part of it.
Yep.
Um, at the end of the day, I mean, regardless of sport, whatever, competition usually isn't a terrible thing.
Right.
Um, and then just, I mean, if you're a player and if we're going solely off of sport and like money and just stuff like that, it would be like there's a lot of guys that aren't the Tiger Woods of the
Yeah.
world. There's a lot of guys that aren't the Rory McIlroys of the world. There's a lot of guys that aren't the Justin Thomas of the world. Not everyone's making multiple millions of dollars, like by any stretch of the imagination. So I understand. It'd be like me playing for the Patriots, and they didn't want to offer me a contract, so I went to the Chargers. I mean, they offered me a contract, but nothing in comparison. So if we're going off of businesses, like, you're probably going to look into it a little.
Yeah.
I mean, and this is solely off of just the sport and the business side. So I get it. And it also could, I'm not saying it's going to, but it could not expose the tour, but it's like, well, maybe just bump up more money. And let's also remember this too. Everyone that is talking about them, they're probably getting a cut from the PGA. Like you know what I'm saying? Like, everyone that's coming out super strong, like Rory's one of my favorite players. He's super strong. Let's not act like the PGA Tour hasn't been like, hey, Rory, we need you to support us.
You
Here's
think
this
they're
many
sliding
more.
him extra quan for saying that?
I don't know. Like, I mean, let's just think of the business, right? They need support,
Yeah.
regardless.
I
And
tell you,
now, it doesn't mean that they are, but it's like there's some questioning, because certain people have came out so strongly for the tour that before said, "Oh, this is kind of interesting." Why are they randomly so for it now?
Yeah.
And like talking so poorly on it. Like that's more so what I've had these discussions obviously with friends, and it's like it, to me that just doesn't add up.
Yeah.
But
It's
I'm just looking at the whole book and what happened earlier on in the book in the first few chapters, where there's some people that are like, yeah, I'm going to look into it, and then they're randomly so against it. It just makes you wonder.
well, and even on the flip side, DJ came out and said he was 100% with the PGA Tour, and then he left, and $125 million in guaranteed cash
Well,
up front may do that to you.
well, and that's the thing too. Maybe the Rorys of the world aren't getting paid, but maybe the best decision, regardless, is to say I'm 100% in, because technically, until he agreed, he was 100% in with the PGA Tour.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me ask you this. Are you gonna I mean, I agree, like, competition is a great thing. Like, when you take away if we're gonna leave, like, the Saudi-backed government stuff out of it, like, the competition is great, and the tour has been sitting on their laurels for a long time. I mean, I think about the app, man. That damn app is so bad. It pisses me off on a regular basis. Every time we get, like, the Masters app, and we gotta delete the Masters app because it's over, and then we gotta go right back to the PGA Tour app for the RBC Heritage. For
Exactly.
us gamblers, like, who track the thing every single week, even for the RBC Canadian Open, I'm looking at that thing. I realize a lot of the people that have that app on their phone probably don't look at it, but maybe a few times a year. But when you look at I mean, I live on that thing Thursday through Sunday tracking my guys' shot link,
Right.
and people have been screaming at the tour, and that's just a small part of it, right? Like, there's, like, the schedule piece of it and how there's, it's kind of a diluted product because there's 40 something events every year, and there's the whole, there's the format thing that people are talking about. There's a lot of things about the tour that are very stale, and they sat on it for a long time, and I don't know what they're doing now. I would imagine they're for sure scrambling. Like, I believe wholeheartedly that Jay Monahan is going to do everything he can, and he's trying right now to be as creative as he can with those in the room that are helping him make these decisions. But we just found out today that Patrick Reed, Bryson DeChambeau are
Yeah.
leaving. As more of these guys start jumping, and now I did say this like a couple weeks ago. I was like, if they have to get they have to get more young players, right? Like, and like to get a Colin Morikawa, a Victor Hovland, because
Yeah.
even if you get like the top college players, the average viewer doesn't care about how
They don't.
good you are in college until you take it to the PGA Tour and you open their eyes in front of that kind of level of play. Even Victor Hovland, Colin Morikawa, Matt Wolff, Bryson DeChambeau, all notable college players that we knew about, but it was really like you're still unproven at the pro level until we see you get here and compete against these guys. So you can take the best college players in the world and put them on LIV Golf, and I mean, I'm still not gonna be that impressed until they start unless you start bringing over some of these other guys that are making it more and more interesting. Obviously, the field this week for this first event is pretty terrible. It's gonna get better. Um,
Oh gosh, yes.
and it sounded like this could be, with more and more, every time a bigger name jumps, other big names are going to get more comfortable, and other big names are going to be going, maybe this is worth me, doing, and the more pressure it puts on the majors to decide whether or not they can play in these majors, the more pressure it puts on the tour to say, we're not going to restrict you, we're not going to ban you from the tour. I mean, do you feel like that's probably the next thing that has to come out of Monahan's mouth is like that he's gonna back off this ban thing? Because
I
I
think
mean,
he
I don't.
has to, right? I mean,
Yeah,
wouldn't you like otherwise there's certain people you're losing, and then those fields, even your tour ones, aren't the best fields in, you know what I'm saying? They might be the best field, one of the best fields, but like you want
yeah,
the best players in the world. And man, I was just thinking about it like as we're sitting here, and because what if I don't know who's someone that's incredibly wealthy, like a Bezos or a like
yeah,
what right? Like they just so much money and they get a bunch of other incredibly wealthy people together.
yeah.
What if they had the live golf and it was in the United States? It would be the same thing.
Yeah, so there's the PGL, which is the Premier Golf League, which is the third player in this whole thing that a lot of people have forgotten about. But there was
Yeah.
actually you had the PGL, which is a got a lot of money behind it as well, and it's not money that people are gonna be upset about, like the sovereign government of Saudi Arabia and the humanity issues that are going on there. This is, like, not that, okay? The Premier Golf League, the PGL is not that. You know, and that league was just months ago talking about continuing to make plans to compete against the PGA Tour. I told Pat today, I was talking to him on the phone, I was like, "Dude, if I'm Jay Monahan, I'm calling the PGL people," because like right now, the biggest issue I think too that Jay Monahan's having to figure out is a how do I get more money into this league, or how do I give more money to my players to continue to make this thing as competitive as
Well, because
possible?
they've obviously been keeping it somewhere.
They're keeping it somewhere. So A, how do I do that? But also B, how do I keep the money that I have right now? Because if I'm CBS, if I'm NBC, if I'm some of these big sponsors, Comcast, FedEx, and you've promised me, you've delivered, you've promised me that I'm going to get a product however many times a year where I'm going to have some of the best names in golf, you know, and a field strength of this, of XYZ. If I'm going to have that, how are you going to commit to me that I'm going to be able to keep that when guys are jumping left and right? And we're going to see more like Jay's also trying to get more money for the tour, get in the players and keep the money that he's got. So if I'm Jay, I'm like going to the PGL. Like, how can we work a deal? I don't know.
Well,
Maybe he's doing
the thing is, yes, the PGL but I'm just saying, say the PGL. Let's and there's no live,
yeah.
but it's just PGL, and it's the money that live has is actually in America. Do we not think the PGA Tour would be angry? They would be angry.
Yeah, they're still gonna be angry because
That's
it's
what I'm saying.
competition.
That like, but say it was just PGL versus PGA, but PGL has the live money. There
Yeah,
would
but
be
the
a lot
difference
of angry
is
people.
yeah, I think there'd be less though. The difference is you have the media that you have the media, you have Twitter, you have all these people that are exposing the you know the side behind the Saudi money that makes you nauseous, right? They're exposing that, and that's bad PR. That's terrible PR. Hard to overcome. It's the reason Phil was he was damn Tom Hanks on an island with a volleyball for 4 months, and
For sure.
you wouldn't have that if it was the PGL. It would just be, hey, you either like the competition or you don't, and there's
But
no other
PGA would be mad, is what I'm saying. Now
PGA
I'm
would
going off of like J-Mont, like
yes,
they would be angry and they're still threatening suspensions because
yeah,
they have the all the tournaments that the PGA has had forever and ever, and it's like, well, we're going to suspend you if you're going to join that. They do the same thing.
yeah,
I mean, because if we're taking everything out of it, if we're really taking the PGA Tour, Jay doesn't care what the live is about. He doesn't care about the Saudi. He's thinking, I'm losing my stars.
100%, yeah,
This has nothing to do when we're talking about PGA Tour and we're talking about live golf and we're talking about the business side. The only reason I say this is because I played in the NFL's only business,
yeah,
and to Jay and the people that work on tour to their lives, they're not worried about who's backing the live. They're worried about crap. We lost Dustin Johnson. Crap.
yeah.
We lost Bryson DeChambeau. It has nothing to do with that. So if it was a PGL, they'd be just as it would be
Oh
the
yeah.
same exact thing. It's just a great excuse, and it's more so it's good leverage for the PGA to be mad and get the fans mad. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? At the players, that they're lucky that the PGL didn't, because if the PGL didn't, there wouldn't be a PGA.
Yeah, there might not be. Let me ask
You
you
know what
this,
I'm saying? Because like
talking
if
about
it's
this
just money. If it's PGL and they're backed by a bunch of clean people
yeah, yeah,
and they have that much money, there's no PGA Tour.
yep,
So
100%.
like in some ways, this is actually it's not helpful for them. But like if it was in America, PGL,
Right.
there
It
would
would
be no PGA
they
Tour.
wouldn't
There
have
would
a
be
chance. Yeah,
no.
yeah,
So like they're actually lucky that the PGL doesn't have like that type right now.
yeah,
It's that it makes me wonder like how much do they have though too? Like
yeah,
I could care less about any of this. I mean, I could care about what's going on in whatever they're doing in their government over
yeah,
there, but we're not getting into that because we said we wouldn't. But like it makes you wonder, like take a inward look at yourself and what's going on in the PGA Tour. Like why didn't, instead of being so worried about suspending people, you know what I would have been doing? I would have been calling everyone and their mom and saying, how do we get more money to the PGA Tour?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be worried. They knew this was coming.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been like, "Oh gosh, you're suspended. You're suspended." No, I'm doing everything I can to raise just millions and millions of dollars
Well,
and finding a solution to get these guys money.
what's funny is I talked to a player on the range at the Byron Nelson, a veteran player who came up to me and said, Greg Norman had a phone call with Greg Norman. He showed me a document that basically said, we have $100 million earmarked just strictly to start off with to fight the PGA Tour in a legal battle for any suspensions, all that kind of stuff. It's all right there. And if we have to replenish it, we will.
That's
So,
that's just like in a little
yeah, it's
account.
in a little bitty, it's a way to save account at Wells
It's
Fargo.
it's just it's just a little CD that they have
But
a
yeah,
100 million in.
but, like, surely, Jay if somebody walked up to the range and told my ass about it at Tour Junkies Enterprises, like, then surely Jay Monahan knows about it. So if you know that, if you already know, like, okay, if we do this suspension thing, we are going to get a fight. And it's probably a fight we're not gonna win or
Yeah,
we wanna, pay for. So why would you even come out and start with that? Like, just now he's gonna have to backtrack it. It's gonna be a tough look. I think he's gonna have to tuck his tail. But I wanted to ask you this because you made me think about it. You talked about the NFL. What would be the NFL equivalent to this? Do you what in your mind or was the XFL that thing?
no, because 'cause the thing is, no,
Do you see
and it's
Saudi
different.
doing something like this with the NFL? I mean, they got F1, their hands in F1.
Yeah.
What if Saudi did this? Like, what do you think?
Well, it would be crazy, but the difference is when you're on these teams too, you're technically not you're technically not a private contractor.
Yeah. You're an
Like
employee of
there's
that team?
yes, like
Yeah.
this is completely different, I think. I mean, I understand what you're saying though, but you have to look like I'm not going to go play some, you know what I mean? Like I like where I live. I like I love being here, but it wouldn't it's a little bit harder because it's a team sport and it's already established because they tried it back in the day. I can't
Yeah,
remember. I think
we
it was
got
the
a chat
USFL
here.
and the NFL.
Yeah, it said
And
USFL even went for huge college stars, which I don't
yeah,
remember
so
that.
like
That is terrible.
Steve Young actually started in the USFL. I can't remember who else, but it's like it's a harder deal because golf's a little bit more throughout the world where football's America, basically. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? But say they did do it. Let's just whatever. You'd have to think. You have to
Yeah,
be like, all right, well, we'll see. But the difference is you might be in contracts, whatever. Whereas this, you are a private contractor.
yeah,
You know what I mean? It's just like I'm not saying a 1099, but I mean you're just a private contractor. You're for everything that you do. Okay, I'm going to do this. I'll get paid for that.
yeah,
So it's a little bit different in that realm. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's business. For anyone that says that it's not, I mean, I'm sure there's some people that take they don't know about it maybe, but like they take gigs with places that probably are doing some shady stuff,
yeah. I
but it's
wanna
paying more.
do some funny stuff here real quick because there's
Yeah,
so much good, funny content that's come out of this. I mean, and listen, with anything like this that they've never done before, this group of people has never done before, even with all the money in the world, there's gonna be some cringe moments, right? And the product, just like any other product, is gonna come out the gate not the same that it's gonna look in a month or 3 months or 6 months if it's still
for
going, right?
sure.
So we know that week 1, there's gonna be warts on this. However, I will say, I did not see the warts being some of the things I'm about to bring up on screen because I would think with that much money, you would be able to afford some better marketing or brand work. But I think there's a few funny things. The Live Golf website is a treasure trove of humor. I want to bring up some things on the screen here if you're watching live on YouTube. First of all, this strikes me as funny because Kevin Na is listed as 5'11", and there is no effing way Kevin Na is 5'11". I am 5'11" and a half, okay? And I take the half because we round up to 6 feet. I've stood next to Kevin Na. There's just no way. It makes me think the Saudis just let him name what he wanted
Is
to.
this the NBA?
He knew he could. Yeah, he knew he could.
Is
I
this
was 6
NBA
feet.
height?
It's unreal.
Charles Barkley was 6'9" too. I remember back in the
Yeah.
video games.
Who would be the Kevin Na equivalent get if there was an alternative NFL league right now? Like who would be the Kevin Na like little bit overrated, but still kind of gets it done from time to time. Most people kind of can't stand him. Kind of an attitude guy.
I can't think of anyone that's like that where like people can't would that people can't stand them.
Because
Someone said Doug Flutie. That was the USFL. I was like, I don't think Doug Flutie was that.
Flutie.
But we can just say if I would have went over, right? People I think could stand me. I was just
Everybody loved
overrated.
you, man. Everybody loved you. This is Phil's team, a real murderer's row here. Phil's team, the London team roster of you got the amateur. I'm not even going to try it.
Yeah.
We'll go by
Yeah.
TTK. I like that. Apparently, I heard that in the draft process, he actually consulted with Justin Harding on the final pick. I mean, Phil consulting with Justin Harding is in and of itself a very interesting statement. He takes Chase Koepka. That's strange to me too, that Chase is gone and Brooks is not already. Like it feels odd to me that Brooks would not lead that charge. Anyway,
It makes you wonder: is Brooks going to come over eventually? Even though, I mean, they all say they're not, right?
Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense for him anyway because he's hurt. He doesn't like to play a lot. He's always hurt. He probably he doesn't. It doesn't seem like he loves golf that much. He rarely practices. It seems like I don't know that he really. I think this is a perfect fit for him.
Okay, let me say this because you asked if there was NFL in the business. Say someone was going to pay me 2 times what I played, and I'd play 8 to 10 games a season.
Yeah, that's tough, huh?
I don't think it's tough.
I mean, tough to turn down. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'd say, yeah. What I mean, and we're talking sport and business. We're not talking anything else.
Yeah.
I'd say, yeah. Where can you fax? Like they still fax? Can you email me the contract?
Yeah.
That's another thing that I didn't really think about, but just like you're playing half the amount.
Yeah.
That would feel incredible for my body to get paid double the money and play half the time. Oh my goodness.
Well, that's the thing.
And it'd be like, and you're going to play 3 quarters instead of 4 quarters.
Yeah, that's true.
What?
It's only 54. Yeah, that's right. It's only 54 rounds, 54 holes. That's the other thing I was going to say is, by now, if I remember correctly, and again, if you're a listener and you've been listening to me for a long time, I have a horrible memory. But if I remember correctly, normally the PGA Tour schedule for the following season drops the week of the Players Championship, or it's sometime around there. Well, we haven't had it because we know that Monahan's been working gradually with the Player Advisory Council to try to figure out how they're going to adjust the fall schedule and how light they're going to make it, what they're going to do to reshape some of these things because of the competition here and players saying we're playing too much. We feel too obligated to play in the fall because of the FedEx Cup deal. It has to be reworked. Well, we still haven't gotten that yet. Like we've been doing this show for 7 years. And by now we know, okay, after the Tour Championship in August, when that's over, we're going to have either the President's Cup or the Ryder Cup. But then literally the next week starts the new season, which is normally like the Sanderson or the, whatever those events are. And that's where we see like the new Corn Ferry Tour guys that have come over and they're rookies. We don't know any of that schedule yet right now. It's not there. So that's another thing that Monahan's having to figure out. And obviously these guys are going for money. That's number one. But I think the number 2 reason is exactly what you're talking about, what I'm talking about with the schedule, with the demand on the travel and their body and their health and all that kind of stuff. Monahan's got to figure that out too. But I want to look at some other funny stuff. So obviously the captains and the team names here. I mean, Danny, the team names just.
I read over some of them. I was like, oh my goodness.
I heard Mark Hubbard said some of these can get funnier if you just put the word donkey in front of them. Like donkey punch, donkey torque, donkey smash, donkey stinger. I said yesterday on Twitter, like Kevin Na's team, I hate to keep picking on him, but I will. It's like, was it the brick scene in Anchorman where it's just like you're naming whatever you see on the range?
Yeah.
Ironheads. That's our team name. Kevin, are you just naming things that you see? And then I feel like either Graham or Keimer started with the, which is kind of clever, I guess, started with like the old school names of like hickory clubs back in the day, like Niblick and a cleek is an old school. That's like, that's what we had before everything was a 5 wood or a 4 iron. And like one of them started it. And then the other one was like, yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to pick another one of those. And then some of these just feel like your dad you had your dad pick. I don't understand.
I'm not a big Four Aces fan.
Not a big for it. DJ's team name shocks me that it wasn't just like golf.
If it was
Golf,
golf, I get it. Yeah,
golf.
let's play
But
golf.
then what's even better, Danny, I'm sure you haven't seen this. This is hilarious. This is published on the website, okay?
No.
This is the identities behind the names of the teams. This is a one sentence thing published on Live. Listen to this. Ace. So 4 aces, Captain DJ. The slang name for golf's greatest magic trick, the hole in one. What the actual golf's greatest magic trick? Oh, they get better. The cleek, okay, that's Keimer, the driving iron of its day, right? Okay, with a refined look and feel that can appeal to fans of golf heritage. Okay, whatever. The crushers, Captain Peter Uline. It's about speed, period. It's about power, period. It's a shot that could shatter a ball on impact, period. This team creates an identity that celebrates its own strength. What the does this mean?
Like, what
This
the
is
thing is, we don't. It would have been a lot better if they would have just named them, and it could have been these names. Now, I mean, let's be honest. The Majestics, like, come on. But like, there's certain, like, they're all names. Never give definitions for names.
no,
Ever
no.
give
Leave
definitions
it to
for
our
names.
imagination, and this is way worse. I
The
mean,
greatest
honestly,
magic trick.
okay, let's read through them, and then I want you to tell me the most cringy one. Honestly, the magic trick is bad, but I actually think the crushers could be worse. It
Where's
sounds
that?
like a
Oh
Bob
yeah.
PXG commercial. It's about speed, baby. It's about All right, then you have Sergio's team, Fireballs Golf Club, a fun and exciting identity which embodies golf at its wildest, and all for a team that will hope to be quote on fire this week. What the hell, dude?
What? See, like, I
Uh,
thought it was just gonna be four dudes, and they just have like fireball with them.
Who is writing
You
that? Yeah,
know,
that would be way better.
that would
Who's
be it,
writing
or it just like it just had a little shooter of fireball, and like, okay, I get it. Yeah, you're the fireballs. Um, a team in
okay,
flight, the High Flyers,
yeah,
powered by its winged logo. This group hopes to soar above the competition.
that's
Like, what
Philistine.
are we doing? And yeah, and we don't need that. We don't even need a definition. The definitions are terrible.
Ironheads, this is Kevin Nas. All about this is good. Somebody wrote this and was really proud of
Yeah.
themselves. All about metal and metal. METAL and METTLE. Displaying a steely determination, a strong, bold identity has been forged for this team, tapping into golf's heraldry. Heraldry? Who says heraldry? Can you even say that? Are we just putting "dree" behind anything? This is douchebaggery. This is what this is.
I mean, it's bad. I mean, golf torque. Golf is a high torque sport, creating a supercharged brand that's all about forward momentum and speed off the tee. Really? Like, it just. I will say this: the names give it a bad look. A bad look. What do you
It's
think
so
of the
bad.
whole team thing, anyways?
Um, I mean, I'm not wait, hold on, let me get this off the I don't I like the team thing, but this is the way they're doing it is weird. Like, are the teams okay? And then like we haven't brought up the logos yet, but I mean these logos are terrible. But we'll bring those up in a second. Are the logos changing every week? Are the team names changing every week? The teams are going to change every week because I think right we're going to add new players. There's going to be a new draft every
Right.
week.
Yeah, I
So
was thinking the same thing.
if you're made of metal and metal week one for Kevin Na, then in week two you got to go over
And
to
you're a crusher the next?
and you're a crusher the next, capable of literally disintegrating a golf ball with your sheer power. How or is there going to be like
And then you're a four acer.
how does that
Like,
work? Yeah, then you're a magic man. You're up there doing magic tricks. I don't know
all
how
I
that
can
works.
ask is they don't wear the apparel that they have.
They do. They have apparel. They have hats, Danny. I've seen
But
hats.
they're not gonna wear it on the course, are they?
I
Please
don't
no.
know, man. But I've seen
That'd be a tough look.
these
That that'd be a tough look.
these logos. Let's see if I can fix this whole thing. No, that's not what I want. Yeah, look at these logos, man.
Look at the Fireballs logo.
That's the
That
one I
looks like
saw
a.
on a hat. I saw Sergio wearing that on a hat.
Can I say this? I actually am okay with the Cleeks one.
The Cleeks one is not bad.
It's fine. Like, I cannot stand the Majestics or the
Where's the Majestic?
Smash Golf
Oh,
Club.
what is the Majestics? What is this
What's
even?
the Stinger? It looks like a snake. You know the snakes,
Uh-huh.
the
Like a
fireworks, the
no,
one.
I think it's a scorpion tail. That's a scorpion tail, bro.
Whatever it is, it's bad.
So, people in the chat are saying Steven said they heard they're wearing team uniforms.
Oh, that'd be
And then,
bad.
um, the some of these are just so bad. Look at Crushers, man, though. You know, that golf ball just disintegrating right before your
Or
eyes.
did I hear? Can they ride carts or not?
I haven't heard that. I have not heard that. I would think we would know
Th-
that by now.
Yeah, I would think, but I didn't know.
But
But they're doing shotgun start, right?
yeah, and our buddy Pat Perry's in the chat. He said if they can drink, then you know he's all in. That would be awesome. But I don't.
I'm sure they'll allow kind of whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like they might. Um, God dang, dude, it's just so bad.
No, it's crazy. Let me say this: it's crazy, but I mean, I have no problem with another golf league. I don't love the
No, not at all.
support part of it. I don't love that. But shoot, another league is fine, right?
Josh
Like,
Tisler in the chat says, "I want to smash flat bill. Nothing like a
oh
logo
no.
depicting air escaping from a balloon knot." I also like the DJ's team. If they consulted DJ and they were like, "Hey, you know, 4 aces. What do you kind of want?" And his answer was, I mean, maybe just an
uh,
A. Just an A would be cool." You know?
I wish it was just like a golf ball,
Well,
and
that's
that's
what
it. Just
if it was just team golf. DJ's like, golf, and it was just golf ball.
or it just was the word golf spelled out. Like that would be kind of sick.
Yeah. I guess these are gonna change
Golf.
every week, dude. I mean, how insane is this gonna be? Surely the marketing is gonna get better and the branding is gonna get better. It has to.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Let me say this though. Like, and this is something that I've learned over the past couple years. And even, I mean, you see it even like at the qualifier I played at. Yes, they don't have like all these big names, but
Well,
after you play golf with like some really good players and then some like mini tour guys, a lot of mini tour guys are absolute dogs.
yeah,
They're like so good.
yeah,
So like quality of play is still going to be there. There's so many guys. It's kind of like the NFL. Now it's not every. I'm not saying every mini tour pro, not every,
yeah,
but like kind of like the NFL. There's so many guys that should have had a 5 to 7 year career that didn't even get 1 year because they didn't get an opportunity.
yeah,
And it's like that's the crazy thing is the amount of good football players or good receivers I saw, good, just whatever. So like, I don't think it's going to be as much of a like, oh, they don't have talent. I really like that's because there's a lot of Corn Ferry guys. They should probably be on tour, but it's just hard to get there.
yeah,
And maybe it's just, and guess what? These guys that are over at this other league are maybe getting opportunities that they've never really had, and they have money guaranteed. They're not going to be playing with pressure of like, gosh, I have to find a way to get to the next tournament.
yeah.
They might start balling.
So
You never know.
I was just about to say, I've heard from, I saw it on Twitter and it's a rumor. I don't know if it's confirmed. Maybe somebody in the chat can confirm that the Live group is taking care of player accommodations and travel for all these guys. And if you think about, you know, I mean, that's not just a big deal. It's a
That's
massive deal for
significant.
mini tour players and Corn Ferry Tour and McKenzie Tour and all that. But it's even a really big deal to guys outside of the top 15 in the world. Like that's a big deal.
Exactly. Not everyone's flying private like people think.
Yeah. No, not at
Not
all.
there's you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people that fly like us on Southwest or on whatever.
Yeah. I mean,
I'd
the
fly Southwest
accommodations
because you get free bags.
Yeah. The accommodations thing is huge. I mean, these guys are spending a lot of money. If you're a Korn Ferry Tour player and you have any kind of notoriety, even if you are looking like you're gonna get your PGA Tour card for the next season, um, I don't know how. I mean, it'd be very hard. We all. I mean, I talked about this on our show the other night. It's about opportunity, and so people are going to hear me say this, and they're going to be like, "DB, you already said this," but I think it's pertinent to this. I remember when Tiger Woods got the golf club put through his back windshield one Thanksgiving morning because his wife found out all of his stuff, right? And everybody started throwing stones at Tiger. And everybody's wives were upset and everybody's wives are going, "Oh, that's just awful." And all the husbands are sitting there going, "Baby, I would never do that. I would never, what a scumbag, what a jerk, what a jackass, whatever." Everybody's throwing stones. And I remember Colin Cowherd, who was like the biggest name in radio at the time, and there was no podcast when that happened. But I remember driving into work and hearing Colin Cowherd say, "You can't say a word unless you've had the opportunity that Tiger Woods has had. And until you've had the opportunity thrown at you the way that he probably has, it's really tough to sit there as a, overweight, middle-aged guy to say you would never do that, right? Very tough
Right.
to do, but don't throw the stones. Um, so quickly. And I feel like even with the Saudi stuff being backed by what it is, you put that kind of money in front of a young person or anybody thinking about their future, thinking about the grind, thinking about all this stuff, it's very difficult. Very, very like Taylor Gooch was a huge surprise to me, but I mean, if they offered him 20 million, that's huge for Taylor Gooch.
Right. Oh, without a doubt. Sorry, I forgot I have a 10 o'clock that I
All right, buddy.
I had to do, but I was like, I want to come on and do this, but well,
Hey,
not 10, but a little after 10.
this was a good chat, dude. I appreciate you hopping on.
Hey,
Dan,
thanks so much for having me.
anything else you need to pump? You need to push people to? You got going on?
Nah, go check out my pod. That's it. Out of Nowhere podcast.
Yeah.
And bro, have me on anytime. I enjoy chatting with you. I always
Yeah.
do.
It was a good time, man. Thank you, dude. Thanks, Danny.
Hey, thanks so much for